Hello and welcome to the next video in the series. There's a few things I want to go over. First, I'm going to give an update on Legion. So this is Sov Rush, and I'm trying to get Marco Polo the Sov Rush by winning cross-server Sov. So when you want to do really well in Sov Rush, that's the time when your Legion should be researching these techs here. Each one of these will give each player in the Legion about 5 million Sov gained when it's researched. So if you add all these up, that's about 20 million Sov by itself. So that's really nice to get those during Sov Rush. These ones give twice as much. So each of these is about 10 million. So if you did all of these during one Sov Rush, that would be 40 million Sov for every player in the Legion. These are 3 times as much as that. So let's see. These are 10 million each, so these would be 30 million each. So all of these would be 120 million Sov for every person in the Legion if they were all researched in one Sov Rush. And they keep going up like that. So you can pretty much win Sov Rush, or have a good chance of coming closer to winning it, at least, if you get these researched during Sov Rush. So that's important to know. Since my last video, there has been no update on Tiger Amulets, so I guess I'll explain a little more how they work. You can get them during a certain time period, which is shown up here. This is the time period they're available. That 400 number there is the maximum we can store. The 4 right there is the number we produce per day without doing anything. The main source of Tiger Amulets is from Beast Hill. So you get them from these quests here. See, this one, it says 2-star quest, so it awards two amulets to stock. Whereas a 1-star quest, that's not what I meant to click on. Yeah, this one's a 1-star quest, so it only awards 1 amulet. But the biggest source of them by far is the Serpent. And you can see the level of rewards here. So for the first Serpent that appears, it gives 10 of them at this health level, it gives 20 at that health level, 30 at that health level, and if you kill it, it gives 50. So these are the different tiers of rewards. And the next Serpent has the same rewards, but it just has more health, so it's harder to earn them. So as you kill one Serpent and advance to the next, it gets harder and harder to earn the rewards, but the more Serpents you kill, the more rewards you get overall. So that's how you earn Tiger Amulet stock, and then you buy them with diamonds. And basically, you want to be buying as many of them as you possibly can. In our horde, we have a limit where each person is only allowed to buy 6 per day, and if they violate that, we'll take them. The developers really should have made an easier way of limiting it other than telling people what to do and then kicking them if they don't comply. So it's a big mistake on the developers' part because everyone wants to buy as many of these as they possibly can, and so it's just a source of drama and confusion and annoyance. But yeah, so 2 Tiger Amulets gives you about a little more than 1 million Sov, just rough numbers. So that's like somewhere between 10 and 50 times better than how much it costs to buy a talent pouch. And talent is usually one of the better resources in the game. So basically Tiger Amulets are like, 10, 20, 30 times better than anything else in the game for how much they cost. So that's why everyone's trying to get them. They're just obscenely overpowered, and there's no balance to them whatsoever compared to the other resources in the game. And there's no way for the Legion leaders to really limit how many people buy either. All they can do is tell you not to buy more than a certain amount and kick you if you disobey. So it's overall a really shitty system in terms of how it was implemented, but it could be better with just a few fixes. Like if they made it so that the leaders could limit how many people can buy, that'd be a huge fix. That would help a lot, but we'll see. I kind of thought the developers would patch this sooner than this, so I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little bit salty about it, but it is what it is. We don't have Legion Battle yet, so you can't unlock more than 1 slot. I have only 1 slot open right now. So every 2 levels, every 2 times you upgrade this, it costs an additional 2 Tiger Amulets. So you can see that I've upgraded 11 times. And now from the base amount of costing 2 to upgrade, it's now costing 14 amulets to upgrade. But it's still a really good value. No matter how much it costs, it's still a really good value. It might eventually stop being a good value around level 50 or 60 or so somewhere around there, but I'm not anywhere close to that. still a really good value as far as I'm concerned. The trade house is fine. It's a neat little thing. Basically, all I do is I just purchase the summon seals. They're the best value. I ignore everything else in here. So it's a good source of summon seals. That's about it. I wouldn't bother with anything else. If you're allergic to the third-party store for some reason, then you could possibly get these here. But generally, it's better to get everything from the third-party store if you're going to buy anything at all. And the roundhouse, as I may have mentioned before, is by far the best building to upgrade because it upgrades all your quests in Beast Hill and gives you more salary, gives you a lot of things that are good. In terms of how much you should be donating every day, there's a couple things I'll point out. These give you more points for how much diamonds they cost compared to this. So this isn't as efficient. However, you do still need to do this a certain amount, and the reason why is because in order to fully upgrade your salary, you have to do a total of 20 contributions in the week, and the quests that I showed you there don't count towards it. So these are a better value, but they don't count towards your contribution limit. And then these are not as good of a value, but you still need to do 20 of them in the week in order to fully maximize your salary. So that's kind of how that works. I guess there's one more thing I'll point out. When you have level 2 roundhouse, there's a chance for level 2 veins to appear, and when you have level 3 roundhouse, there's a chance for level 3 veins to appear. So as you can see, these just give more. They give 14 per minute compared to these, which are 10 per minute. So each level of the vein gives 2 more per minute. So these reset right after reset, and if you want to be the one to get the better stuff, just log on right after reset and hop into the highest level vein you can find, and that's how you min-max that. So I'm right in the middle of Sov Rush right now. I'm currently in first place, and I expect to be able to maintain that. You might notice that I'm in first place with only a little over 200 million Sov right now, and depending on what server you're in, that might seem kind of low. I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get into a rush cycle that takes less. So the matching system will actually downgrade you into an easier rush pairing if your server does badly enough in the rushes. So what my server agreed to do is during the arena rush and the horde credit rush and whichever rush came before that, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but we kind of sandbagged it. We deliberately did poorly. Like for example, in arena rush, I'm usually like in the top 5, but this time I went for like 50th. And horde credit rush, we often take like 3rd place. We took like 8th this time. So we really dropped our rankings down, and what that did was it enabled us to get an easier pairing for the rush that comes afterwards, Sov Rush. So we dodged being paired up with Constables and Uncaged and the other really big spenders who are normally at like 400 million or above Sov. So we ducked out of the highest tier of Sov Rush, and now we're in the 2nd highest tier. And the competition here isn't nearly as fierce. And the reason why that's important to do sometimes is because certain rushes will allow you to unlock Marco Polo. So right before a Marco Polo rush is coming up, if possible, your server would be wise to drop down out of the highest rush bracket into a lower one, and that makes it a lot easier for somebody to pick up the Marco. So that's really important if you're interested in building Marco Polo, is understanding how that works and also coordinating within your server to make it happen. I guess there's a few other things I'll talk about. So in Legion, this is really important for winning Sov rushes. And here, you can unequip this, and if you do that, all the extra Sov you're gaining is kind of going to go away. It's not really going to go away. It works the same way as unequipping a pet, which I've explained in the past, and I'm not going to explain it again in depth here, but I'll just say that if you understand how to unequip your advisors from this totem and how to unequip your pets, and then you understand how to make use of that to carry Sov over to the next rush, wherever you want to apply it, you can make use of that to win Sov rushes easier. If you need a more detailed explanation of that, you can ask me in the comments and I'll write it out. But it's usually if I explain it once, people don't get it. If I explain it twice, they usually still don't get it. And the 3rd time, sometimes they get it. So I can write out an explanation if you need me to, but I'm not going to cover that fully in this video. So yeah, unequipping both pets and advisors in the praise totem can be a great way of hoarding up Sov to win a Sov rush. Presence is the next most important thing. I had like more than 100 of these and more than 100 of these saved up before this rush, and a good deal of my Sov came from that, in addition to the ones I had for Ken and Tamo. So I had quite a good amount of presence. I started this rush with it was like 1,700, 1,600, somewhere around there of these, and I used up about half of these so far. So I had a huge amount of talent saved up as well, and I had a lot of flags saved up as well. But I would say that a really good portion of my Sov that I've gained so far came from Legion. Another good portion of it came from all the presents. So maybe about 1/3 Legion, or maybe a fourth Legion. A little more than a third from presence, and the rest from talents, basically. And you do get small amounts from other things too. Like, for example, Sub he had like no equipment before this, and I got him up to purple equipment just on all equipment I had saved. The equipment increase itself doesn't really give much, but as you go up tiers, it gives more talent. So 11 each, that's 44. So just from giving him all that equipment, I got about 44 talent worth out of it, which isn't a huge amount, but it's significant. So large amounts of equipment can add up. You just basically just take each advisor to the orange tier because that's the most efficient one for getting the extra talent. Getting to red tier takes way too much, so you just get them each to orange. You can see all mine are on orange, 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 orange tier, orange tier. I'm not actually building him. He's kind of a placeholder, so his are still at purple. And then Sub's the next one I'm building, so he's at purple. As far as presence goes, I've started giving Sub some presents now, and that's why I'm building him. It just started becoming inefficient to give it to Kuba at this point. It's now requiring 45 each to upgrade Kuba, and I kind of draw the line there. I mean, Kuba's good, but I don't think he's good enough to upgrade his presence when it costs 45, when if I were to give it to Subutai, it only costs 12. So it costs a little more than 3 times as much to upgrade it for Kuba, and I just don't think that's quite worth it. So yeah, I'm going to switch over to building Sub now for that reason. Alright, that's it for this video. If you've got any questions or comments, post them in the YouTube comment section and I'll respond. I originally planned to do a longer video, but I decided that I'll just do a short video now, and I'll do another video when they finally release Legion Battle. So you can expect my next video when Legion Battle comes out. I'll give an update then. Bye.